This is Sky from MakeUseOf.com, and today we're taking a look at the Moto G5 Plus. If you want a phone with high-end specs but can't afford a $700 phone like the Galaxy S8, the Moto G5 Plus might just be for you. It's more expensive than many low-end devices, but it can offer some decent advantages over those kinds of budget phones. The Moto G5 Plus runs nearly stock Android, but has some clever Moto tweaks and decent hardware backing it up. The Moto G5 Plus is an incredibly sturdy phone. It's made of metal, which doesn't bend or creak at all like cheap plastic phones tend to do. The curved edges make it so that the phone doesn't cut into your palm, though the edge of the screen isn't as smoothly rounded as it could be. The matte metal finish looks sleek and is great at hiding fingerprints as well. The 5.2-inch 1080p display gives it a bit of a smaller footprint than most other phones, and it's colorful and bright. On the right side, you'll find the power button and volume rocker, which are both pretty standard. The left side is empty, while the top has the micro SD card slot and nano SIM card slot. Along the bottom is just the micro USB port and headphone jack. It should be noted that the G5 Plus does not support the newer USB Type-C, so if you're looking to convert to the newest standard as soon as possible, this phone is not for you. The speaker is built into the earpiece itself, which is convenient because it means that it's always facing you, but it's not the loudest speaker in the world. It's pretty mediocre. There's also a fingerprint sensor along the bottom, a 12-megapixel camera on the back, and a 5-megapixel camera on the front. The cameras are pretty good, but they're not anything to write home about. Internally, it runs Android 7.0 Nougat, though an update to 7.1 should be coming eventually. From the home screen, you can swipe up to access the app drawer and swipe back down to return to the home screen. You can also swipe over to the left to access a Google Now style feed of cards with useful information. The settings menu doesn't have a lot of customization options. You can tweak the font size, display size, and toggle on the ability to press the power button twice to open the camera, but unfortunately, there's no way to show the battery percentage in the status bar. The Moto app is where most of the tweaks are. Moto Display shows just the time, battery percentage, and your notifications when you pick up the phone, without displaying the full lock screen. Moto Actions have a lot more uses. You can use the fingerprint sensor as your navigation bar by swiping left to access the back function and swiping right to access the recents function. You can also long press the fingerprint scanner to turn off the screen. And there are several other tweaks available, like chopping twice to activate the flashlight or twisting your wrist to activate the camera. Performance is pretty good thanks to the Snapdragon 625 processor, but you will still occasionally run into lag. The 4GB of RAM and 64GB of storage are great, but the cheaper version with 2GB of RAM and 32GB of storage just isn't enough. The 3000 mAh battery is average and will probably get you through a day, but it still uses the older micro USB port instead of the newer USB Type-C. At the end of the day, this phone falls in a weird in-between land. It's not quite a budget phone, but it isn't really a flagship either. It could work for folks who want a bit of an upgrade without jumping all the way to a high-end device. Be sure to head on over to MakeUseOf.com to read the full review and see how you could win a Moto G5 Plus for yourself.